All right, good day, everyone. It's Damon Bodan from Corcoran back with another house hacking deal analysis. Today, we are going to be looking at a two-family property in the neighborhood of Maspeth, Queens. So I'm going to get right to it. So bear with me as I kind of work to share my screen. All right, so the property we're looking at is 6149 55th Street. Okay, so you can take a look. You know, looks like a pretty good condition, two family, 5 bed, over 3 bath house. Okay. So let's see what we're looking at here. Okay. So fully attached, two family with basement, communal driveway, parking for 1 car. That's good. Car parking is always good, right? 3 bed, 1 bath, and a second floor. Boxed bedrooms, not railroad, also good. 2 bedroom, 1 bath on the first floor, washer, dryer, and box bedrooms. Okay, central AC, also good. PVC fence. So right now they are getting 5,600 for these units, with the idea that you might be able to get as much as 6,300. We'll see. All right, so your trains right now, you're about 0.7 miles from the nearest train at the M. So, and you are right here in the kind of smack dab in the middle of that Fresh Pond, Fresh Pond, Maspeth area. Okay. So let's plug this property into our deal analysis. All right. So just bear with me. I'm making a copy of this little guy here. Bear with me, guys. Just taking a second here to get this whole sheet ready. $6149 55th Street. All right. So let's hammer right into it. Okay. All right. So this guy is a duplex. All right. It's a duplex currently. I want to see what they've got. Okay. My assumption is that they are probably getting, if that's a $5,600 rent roll, that they're probably getting 25-ish on the lower, and then 3650 or something on the upper. Okay. So let's look at 3 beds right here. You got this 3 bed on the market. Let's just look at it. Sorry, let me just pull it this way, guys. Apology. All right. So we have in the 3 bed market. Sorry, guys, I promise I can do this. All right, so you got a little bit of everything here. Some people are just crazy. I'm just going to try to kind of connect the dots on these things, right? So we're going to be looking over here more so at what we're seeing. So 32-ish, 13.5, I think is way crazy. Let's just take a quick look. I'm going to pull past rentals. This is how we do things, guys. It's just FYI. I do think if you are fully renovated, we are going to get to. This is something you guys will have to ask me for. I don't know if you guys have this on your Street Easy. All right, so here we go. 3850, 3500, 3500. What does this 3850 property look like? Okay, so no photos. Basically, All right. Let's just use some here between 3450, 35, 35, 38. I'm going to use 3500. Okay. 3500. All right. All right. Now, next thing is in this property, we have a 2 bed. So now obviously you have to own or occupy, right? So if your 3-bed, 2-bath is going for 35, now let's say that your 2-bed, you're leasing the other room in your unit for about 1,100-ish bucks. And do we think this is reasonable? Let's see. So remember, this is my little handy dandy room calculator here. Hot pads. Okay, 1,600 here, 1,075 here, 1,225 here. I think that's doable. 1,350 here. That's probably a full apartment there. No, that's real part. I think 1,200 is doable. Maybe we're under, but let's just be conservative, all right? So 1,200. Okay. So now this property is on the market for $899. I'd like to think there's a better deal out there, but let's just say you're paying full ask, okay? So right now, 3.5% down payment of 31,465, loan amount of 867,535. Interest rate, let's just check. Remember, I use Mortgage News daily to check interest rates. And 30-year FHA is coming in at 5.8. All right, so same basic deal. All right. So when you get an FHA loan, you have to pay what's called the upfront mortgage insurance premium, which is 1.75%. Closing cost roughly around 3% of the purchase price, right? In New York. This unit looks pretty good to go. So let's assume no renovation, maybe like paint, something like that. But for the purposes of argument, let's assume that it's not. All right. So today, after repair will not be, you're not got renovating this place. It was got renovated in 2019, or you're not really adding value per se. All right, so first let's look at the taxes and see what they've got here. $429 a month. All right, how does that correspond with us? Just bear with me, guys. The reason I'm doing it this way, and you may learn this if you watch some of my other videos, is very rarely are properties in New York State taxed at the full assessed value. So this county tax rate calculator here is not exactly valuable because, so 429, we got it at 427, because a lot of times, and I'll do a separate video on this, a lot of times the market value of the property and the tax code prevents the Department of Finance from actually taxing properties at their full market value. So a lot of times the assessed value of the property is significantly lower than the market value. You'll like this as a homeowner because there's a protection in place that actually protects your taxes from just like doubling or tripling in like some places in the US, all right? So anyways, mortgage payment of $1,590. Now look at taxes and insurance, all right? So taxes, we calculated, insurance usually about 15 to 30%. Or 0.15 to 0.3%. Mortgage insurance premium, if you do the low down payment, you are going to be paying close to 0.85. It's an FHA specific issue on the PMI. No property management, because you will basically hold this one. You will do this one yourself. Utilities, remember, you've got unit 2 probably paying their own utilities, and then you've got yourself paying kind of marginal because you have a roof. Right, so let's just say some reason here. Let's just say that you're paying about $100 a month total. You'll see why there's a little error in the spreadsheet here, which is annoying, but I will correct anyways. It's showing as a 3-unit building, but it's not. We're actually looking at it 2. So what I'm doing actually is just doing $100 a month because I think that will be your contribution to utilities. Remember, you have 1 roommate and you have unit 2 paying their own. Maintenance and CapEx, this is to save for a rainy day, 5% of what you take in every month. No other expenses here, and vacancy 5%. This is for like room by room vacancy, for rental vacancy, things like that. Okay. So let's now say that basically on these calculations, you are paying an approximately $2,113 out of pocket every month. Okay. So a few things to factor in here. Number one, every time that you make a mortgage payment, a percentage of that payment goes towards your principal. In this case, that starts at $897, and it only improves from there, right? So although you're theoretically paying this money out, to some degree you're paying off the debt. If you look in this calculator and you want an idea of how principal paydown works, I want to show you here. You can look at how principal paydown goes for all 360 months of the loan, right? So you see that you pay down, of that payment, that mortgage payment that you make, right? Every month you're paying down a little bit more principal, a little bit more principal. That's why, as I always say, you'll hear me say this in every video, time in the market is always better than time leaving the market, okay? So now, basically what other assumptions are we making? We're saying that you're gonna live here for 1 year, maybe you live here for more, maybe not, right? Your rent appreciation is gonna come in around 4% a year. Your price appreciation is gonna come in around 4% a year. Both are under New York City historical averages, but let's just say that holds true. Okay, so this little monstrosity here is the monthly gains, right? And this is equity. It's when you start getting, it's how your payments factor in over time, right? So now remember, you're paying down $2,080 the first year, and second year, this is nothing is to change, right? Basically at this point, if you never moved, you're going cash flow positive in year 13, all right? Yeah, not so sexy, right? But let's assume that you do move, okay, after that 1 year, all right? So we already established that we were getting $3,500 for the 3-bed unit, right? What about the 2? I'm gonna assume that it's around 25, but let's just see if we got something that will, let's see what we got. I'm using my this is a comparables calculator that real estate agents have. I don't think, unfortunately, people do. Okay, so your high water mark is 3,300, 3,100. I think because you're renovated, you're probably going to trend in this $2,500 to $2,800 range. Let's say that, just for the purpose of argument, that this rental, unit 2, becomes a $2,600 rental, okay? Now you're at $6,100 a month, right? Okay, so now this is after year 1, right? Remember, you're still making that same payment, still paying the same PMI, same rate, etc. But now, although you're paying out of pocket $853, remember now you're in month 13. So this principal pay down is actually going to be, let's go back to the month calculator here. Principal pay down is actually going to be $951. All right. So essentially what that means is you're now technically in the money on this property, right? Although it might not show it here, you're technically in the money on year 2, because remember, every time you make a payment, you're paying down debt, right? So now let's make some other assumptions for this property, okay? Let's say that instead of $899, we can get this property for $875, okay? Takes your payment down a little bit, does a little bit better on the cash flow, right? Remember, this is just based on the rents, the future of the property. Now, let's say that from a mortgage perspective, you locked at 5.8, okay? Let's look at just the 30-year fixed historically. Okay. So we're looking at FHA, right? Now I'm going to say that I think you're going to get this rate eventually down to 4%. This is why. All right, so 2010, 2009, this is right after the crash. This is, remember, FHA 30-year mortgage rates, right? 4.8 got to about a high of 5, right? End of 2010, it was at 4.3. End of 2011, it was at 4. End of 2012, it was at 3.3, right? End of 2013, you were at 4. 2014, 4. 2015, sub 4. 2016, sub 4. 2017, right around 4. 2018, 4.3. A little bit of a peak and higher 2018, and then it's trending down again, 3.3. This is, remember, this is all pre-pandemic right here in 2019. Okay, so that's great, right? However, there's one other factor I want to say, right? Let me just bring back the sheet. On an FHA loan, you always pay the mortgage insurance premium. So whatever this number is, you will always pay that, right? So one of the keys of success is to eventually refinance out of the FHA loan. So what does that mean? Why would you refinance out of the FHA loan? Now, if you are to refinance, for example, into a conventional loan, and now let's say that you have 20% equity in this property, meaning that what you owe versus what the actual current value is, right? Let's say that you owe 800,000 at this point, but the value is at $1 million, right? And if we're looking at this from a property value standpoint, I'll show you why I think this is actually doable. Property value, okay? So 4% appreciation, basically you're under year 1, 910, 946, 984, 1,023. So let's say you get to that number right around year 4. And let's say that you're able to now refinance out of this FHA. And let's say you're also able to get a rate that's closer to the historical. Just now you're going to a 30-year fixed, so conventional, right? Let's say that you're into the historical numbers of the last 10 years, right? 4.7, 4, 4, 4, 3.91, 3.68. This is all pre-pandemic. Remember, let's just say that you're getting down to 4.25. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this to 4.25. Okay. And we're going to assume that you're getting out of this FHA loan. So we're taking that out, right? So now look at what that does to your cash flow every month, right? Now your payment is, and at that point, right, you're probably refinancing a little less debt. So let's say that numbers, this mortgage payment will actually be lower at that point. Let's say that these rents have improved a little bit over the years, right? Let's say your rates improve and you're able to eliminate MIP, right? That means that this, I think, would be your minimum on cash flow before the principal pay down, of course. And now there you go. So you're actually in the money, right? Now you're, of course, in the money all the way through, right? Remember, your initial investment on this property was only at the, the 3.5%, right? So I bring this up because a lot of this times, people look at these things and they'll say like, oh man, I'm going to be underwater in this and paying $2,000 a month, right? Well, yeah, you are today, right? But if you strategize moving forward, you're going to be as long as there is a point in the future that a few things hold true, right? Number one, property values in New York go up over time. Let me just put myself back in the space. Number one, property values go up over time. the last 100 years in New York City, property values have went up about 92 or 93% of the time. So let's hope that holds true, okay? Even if it doesn't, right? Rental market theoretically does go up over time, right? Rental market, in the last 2 years appreciated like 30%. I don't think that is sustainable, but I do think a significant, 3 to 5% annual growth, very much. Number three, let's hope that mortgage rates go down so that you're able to refinance, right? So if we look at something like this today, and we're in a buyer's market, number one, maybe we're not paying full ask. Number two, maybe the seller is giving us what's called a seller concession for closing costs, right? Number three, maybe we're getting a little bit better on the price, right? And the seller concession, you never know, right? So number four, if you're a renter now, a lot of people I talk to are paying like $300-800 a month. I'm like, guys, it's a no-brainer, right? So the last thing, and I'll let you guys go, let's get even more. A lot of this stuff is theory, right? There's a lot of things that have to happen, but generally this is true. Number one, you can do FHA. In New York City, it's not common, but sellers are willing to accept it, especially when there is a buyer's market. Number two, rental market is, we don't overcome, right, ever. As you saw, this property was fully rented, and they were getting numbers that were very close to my projected numbers, right? Number three, you're looking for something that at minimum is kind of cosmetic work so that you don't get stuck putting 6 figures of renovation and cash in the property, right? All those things together while managing sort of the long-term vision of the property, like meaning like, okay, how is the mortgage rate environment to kind of refinance, right? Can I pay down more debt, right? Meaning like, am I able to get out of the FHA loan and do a conventional loan, things like that, right? So you do those things, guys. It's hard to fail at this. Anyways, I'll let you go from here. My name is David Boda. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.